Ladies and gentlemen, there are so many lies going around the internet about Nux Taku that it's going to be difficult for me to pick just two of my favorites to put in the title and thumbnail of this video to trick retards into clicking on it thinking that it's going to be an anti-Nux Taku video. But I'm going to make my best shot at it. First of all, Nux Taku is an Israeli citizen. He's a big Zionist shill. He's a citizen of Israel. Even I know that that's not true. Nux is from somewhere far, far worse. Canada. Now, I know that some people say, well, he's a dual citizen. You know, he's a Canadian and American. Look, listen, you're either an American or you're not. There's no such thing as being a dual American citizen. He's a Canadian, okay? He's a maple syrup sucking mother Canucker, all right? The other one is, and this really just stretches the limits of imagination, that Nux Taku is actually Ben Shapiro. I've heard that as I've been scrolling. I've seen people like, yeah, he's Ben Shapiro. I mean, fucking what? I've also heard that he's a Mossad asset. I mean, this guy might as well be the international man of mystery with the way that people make things up about him. And the thing that's so crazy is that at the end of the day, the more stuff that you make up about him, the more that he seems kind of like a badass. Now, the reason that we're talking about Nux Taku, the reason why I wanted to pull that rabbit out of the hat is because Nux is getting shit for something else that he said, which is that he has no empathy for people being deported if they're not American citizens. I think that this statement in and of itself, I think that we can make Nux Taku an honorary American. I think that this statement qualifies it because that's something that I hold in my heart and think is absolutely true. It is cruelty to treat people in this way where I can be as altruistic and virtue hungry as I want. I can talk about, oh, these poor illegals. And if you are somebody that doesn't have to live with the consequences of your good intentions, then your opinion means shit. It means dog shit. Because you, from your gated community, going from your Starbucks to your Whole Foods and then back home, you don't have to live with the consequences of your bad ideas. But innocent people do every day. Shop store owners and people that you would just otherwise walk past and not give the time of day about as you're duck facing and vlogging on your Instagram or your TikTok about what a great person you are. People have to deal with the consequences of your stupidity and your virtue ravenous nature. So I think that what he said is absolutely true, and we're going to watch this.
By the way, I'll be real, this is crazy. People say, Nux, I can't believe you have no empathy for these people that are getting deported. No, I have no empathy for the people being deported. I'm sorry. Having empathy for the cruel is being cruel to the innocent. I have zero empathy for the people that are being deported if they are not American citizens. So, by the way, I'll be real, this is crazy.
Yeah. So this guy says, correction, Nuxinor is an Israeli Canadian American who lives in Israel. I think Nux has said that he doesn't live in Israel, but what are we doing?
Mr. Borelli, you come to Israel. I will give you a tour, okay? I'll give you the craziest tour.
No, it's
Coming to where? Wait, where are you at?
Israel.
Wait, do you really? Oh, I'm actually going in 3 days for 2 weeks. So
you're going to Israel in 3 days?
Hell yeah, I'm going to West Bank, interview people, hopefully not get assassinated.
Okay. I am not going to the West Bank.
Oh
However, I'll definitely get a coffee with you or something.
Where do you live? Oh, I know you definitely live in Tel Aviv, 100%.
I don't know anything about Umpaville, but damn, Destiny is, oh my God. Destiny has a lot to atone for. Let me just say that he unleashed Hassan upon the world. Hassan would not be where he is if not for Destiny. And that is original sin right there. That is something that it will take Destiny a lifetime to atone for. That he made all of us have to deal with and suffer a Hassan Piker. And some ordinary gamers, I have my personal opinions about him, which I'll share with you right now. I've heard a lot of people say that, Mudahar is like a good person, but he's a Canadian, so I know that that's not true. I'll just say this, all right? I believe in being honest and forthright. I don't want to collab with people. I'm not looking to make friends. I'll just be brutally honest. I think that Mudahar's betrayal of Nux Taku, and by the way, Nux Taku and I aren't friends. We've never talked. We've never had any sort of TMs. I don't know Nux. He's not my friend. I was absolutely fucking livid at that post Nux clarity video. Because Hassan put a little bit of pressure on you, you folded. And you oh my god, I'm getting heated just fucking thinking about it. And again, Nux is not my friend. Yeah, like we don't know each other. But holy shit. This guy, I don't care if people, he's in a dark space, he's depressed, he didn't want any of, I don't give a shit. It says everything about your character or lack of character when you fold like a fucking pretzel because of pressure from fucking Hassan Piker, the terrorist supporter, the underage brothel enthusiast, and you stab your friend in the back, you treat him like he's some like deviant, degenerate scumbag, some like pedo, like, oh God, get the fuck out of here. Yeah, I hate that guy. Fuck that guy. Like, holy shit. Yeah, I have very strong opinions about that, even though it didn't have anything to do with me. That sort of betrayal, though, is par for the course for being an online content creator. You have to sort of expect that everyone's going to stab you in the back at one point, but holy criminy, that was a tough pill to swallow. And on top of that, he's a Canadian. So, yeah, I've got some things against Mudahar. I can't stand that sort of disloyalty. It makes me physically ill. But anyway, yeah, they're saying, oh, he's an Israeli, he's a Canadian, he's an American. Nux has said that he's not an Israeli citizen, that he has family there, which would make sense why he would visit there, and that he's a Canadian American. However, if Nux does renounce his Canadianism, I think he should be welcomed back in the United States. Because this sort of statement is absolutely true. He has no empathy for people being deported if they're not American citizens. Donald Trump was elected with a mandate to get illegals out of this country, and he even said, hey, look, if you're an illegal, before ICE gets to you, you can self-deport. And we're going to create a pathway that, maybe we can expedite things to get you back in the country a little bit more quickly. But he gave people every opportunity to do the right thing. And if they don't want to do the right thing, then we'll do it for them and we'll kick them out. And it's not going to be pleasant and it's not going to be pretty. Biden let 20 million of these people into the country. And by the way, they're not all from Mexico. That's a ridiculous statement. They're from Venezuela. They're from El Salvador. They're from Haiti. They're from Nicaragua. They're from everywhere. They're from China. They're from the Middle East. And by the way, this isn't a race thing. If there's a guy that is absolutely as butt pasty white as Nux Taku's VTuber avatar, I would say deport that person too. I don't care if they're an Eskimo. I don't care if they're part of the Wigwam tribe. It doesn't matter. If you're in the country illegally, get the fuck out. It really is that simple. And it is not benevolence. It is not mercy. It is not compassion to allow these people to stay and commit crimes and take up space. And when I say take up space, you think about the epidemic that's coming in terms of housing. The younger generation can't afford housing. The prices are all too high. Why are the prices too high? Well, for a variety of reasons. Number one, the market is saturated. One of the greatest destroyers of Western civilization was women entering the workforce because it doubled the workforce. Basically, men that could compete for higher wages because there was a scarcity of workers. Well, now there's double that. Now they have double people to choose from. And basically everyone loses in that sort of marketplace. If women were to stop working and go back to reproducing, I'm going to get canceled for that. But with the birth rate epidemic across the globe, not just in the West, across the globe, Like, look what's happening to Japan. Holy shit. But if we got rid of modernity and actually returned to a more traditional foundation of a nuclear family, and men being the breadwinner, men being the one that are the earners, I think that you would see wages go up drastically. I think that you would see a lot of things change because companies would have no choice but to pay people what they're actually worth instead of pitting people against each other. Anyway, that's just my own personal take. But yeah, absolutely. Illegal immigration is not just one thing, it's a multifaceted thing that affects the economy. It affects every bit of our daily life when you have 20 million people burdening a system and they're not even supposed to be here. And that includes healthcare and everything else. Sorry, I've been active here for the last 2 weeks. I lost a family member in Israel. Oh, man. I'm an artist from Israel, and this is my art. Well, I don't understand. Anyway, yeah, this seems more like just. I don't understand what this is trying to do. But anyway, I really did like this clip from Nux Taku, and I wanted to have a little bit of fun. I do think. Let me just add this. I do think Nux Taku's transformation. I have noticed it. And I look at the timestamp of him losing a family member back in 2023. Like, he still didn't like Trump in the 2024 election. Not really. But after Trump won, and like, I think it was after the bullet, actually. I think it was in July. I think that really changed things for a lot of people when they saw Trump get up and go fight, fight, fight. But he's been a big advocate of Trump, a big supporter of Trump. You'll love to see it. That's another reason why we would allow Nux Taku to re-enter the country as an American rather than a Canadian. Your prime minister was Justin Trudeau. I know. I know you could counter by saying, yeah, well, your president was Joe Biden. I understand. I would have to be like, yeah. And then you could say, well, you had Barack Obama for 8 years. And I'd be like, yeah, that's bad. But you now got Mark Carney. You got Mark Carney. Oh, man. Getting Mark Carney after Justin Trudeau is like pulling in a gotcha game, spending all this money, being like, okay, now is finally the time. I'm going to get this ultra rare. I'm going to pull my favorite waifu. And then you get like a special edition of the voice actor that plays Paimon. You get her like you get her in a bathrobe. You're like, oh. Ugh. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, I just wanted to have some fun at Nux Taku's expense. None of the shit that people say about him is true. I've said this before. I don't know the guy. But people come to me all the time. Oh, did you know that Nux is a pedo? So I don't think he's a pedo. I will say that I don't think he's a pedo. Hassan might be. Hassan actually. Hey, Hassan, or his orbiters. How old was the girl that Hassan visited at the brothel? Just curious. The one that was rated for trafficking underage girls. I'm just curious. I definitely want to know the answer to that question because it would make a lot of sense why Hassan has the impulse and the urge to call everyone else a pedo and a rapist. Yeah. Because when you're a peanut-brained, probably several generations inbred, terrorist-supporting Diddy party enthusiast, you're somebody that supports the extermination of Israel and the Jews and wants the downfall of America. When you're that fucking retarded, your only mechanism to deal with stuff like that is to accuse other people of things that you've done yourself. Well, anyway, ladies and gentlemen, that'll do it for this video. Let me know what you thought in the comment section below. By the way, if you haven't already, go over and subscribe to me on Kick. Yeah, I'm doing something here. I haven't really streamed for about a week because I was gone. But I did a couple streams and the engagement from Kick, I kid you not, it was amazing. In comparison to Twitch. Twitch, I mean, come on. Twitch has been a black hole for small content creators for a long time. And you may look at 35 followers, but understand, and you may go, yeah, come on, really? 35 followers? I streamed like 4 or 5 times and already had that following and had people in the chat from Kick that were actually communicating that weren't bots. Look at the VOD numbers. For me, that's pretty good. Especially in comparison to Twitch, which they don't have any discoverability. None. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank you for watching. I want to thank you for supporting the channel. It means a lot, and I'll see you next time.